Hello, and thank you for tuning in. Today, we want to talk to you about an exciting program coming up next month called Strive to Thrive, the Center for Nonprofit Excellence two-day certificate course in nonprofit fundraising, which will take place on February 22nd and 23rd. I'm Merv Antonio, Senior Director of Learning and Convening at the Center for Nonprofit Excellence, and today I'm joined by our esteemed instructors, Mark Rountree, currently partner and of counsel with Ashley Rountree and Associates, and Tawanda Owsley, Senior Vice President, Chief Development and Marketing Officer with Hospers Health. Welcome both. Good to see you all.
Hi.
Thank you, Merv.
So today, I'd like to give our future participants a brief snapshot of the program, what it sets out to be, and how it sets it apart from other programs, the unique opportunities it offers, and then the impact it provides. So with that in mind, Mark, let's start with you. Can you tell us how this certification program differs from our previous one and why the change was necessary?
Thanks, Merv. Well, when we started the School for Fundraising and Engagement at CNPE in the winter of 21, we announced a certificate that would be given if you completed a certain number of courses over the next year or 2 years. And we had several students who completed their courses and got a certificate. But one thing we learned from the learners who were in our program and from the faculty members who helped was that they were really yearning for a deeper level of study, and they wanted to do it as a cohort in a group where they could get to know each other. And we realized about this time last year, we need to start thinking about what could we do differently. So instead of awarding a certificate, something like a punch card in the school where you get a certificate if you finish 8 classes, we decided instead to introduce this new idea, which would be a very intense 2-day, 9 to 4 session. And you would have plenty of time for networking and to meet other people in the field, but you would also get a deep experience that would be, we think, strengthened by the fact that you got all of this material from a faculty team over the course of 2 days, and then you were done. And you could continue to draw upon all the information we gave you. And in this sense, it's more like other certificate programs around the country that you might have seen, where you come in for a day or 3 days. In our case, we wanted to do it. We wanted to do it as a 2-day. And the other thing that we think this does that the nonprofit leaders in our community really needed was an affordable option in our community for a certificate experience in fundraising and in really nonprofit leadership, which involves fundraising. And you wouldn't have to go out of town, say to IU or other campuses, and spend 3 days or 10 days, or in one case, 16 days. And we try to keep it very affordable and manageable for local people so they don't have to travel to go get this certificate. They can get it right here and go home every day. So that was how we came up with it.
Thanks, Mark. I mean, it's so great to hear about the adjustments that we make in order to meet the need, and about our commitment to growth, adaptation, and learning in service to our learners. So thank you. Tawanda, moving forward, what unique skills or knowledge will participants gain from this certification program?
Yeah, I think we've learned so much through COVID, and our communities continue to change. And I think the world of philanthropy continues to change. So I think we'll put attention around DE&IB and how that plays into the landscape of philanthropy today. We're going to talk a lot about major gift fundraising and leading your organization through change and growing your donor base. We'll talk some about segmented donor bases and what that looks like. There's going to be an opportunity to look at grants and what part they play. So really just diversifying your fundraising fundraising efforts and having a more robust machine that you're operating within your organization. We'll talk about special events in 2024 and what that looks like, various different ways to engage your key audiences. So I think what we're going to do with this certificate is look at donor segmentation. We're going to look at organization management. We're going to look at staff retention, and we're going to look at diversity and inclusion.
That sounds incredibly valuable, Tawanda. Thank you. It's clear that just to hear you talk about it, that our participants will gain a important and competitive edge by participating. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Mark, back to you. Could you discuss
Yeah.
some of the common challenges that professionals in nonprofit fundraising face and how this program can help address some of that?
Well, I think there are old challenges that never go away. And then there are new challenges, particularly in the last 36 months, as Tawanda and I have talked and worked with others. So the old challenges in fundraising are, how do you set up a program to succeed? What are the common best practices? What do you do about declining volunteerism, which has been a trend really for the last decade or 2 decades, that more and more nonprofits have depended upon staff and paid staff and have struggled to find a way to energize and organize volunteers to help you. We also have some new things that we think are challenges, which Tawanda alluded to during the pandemic, especially. We noticed more and more people were having to make very tough decisions about fundraising programs and indeed entire nonprofit programs that had to be cut or scaled back. And how do you make those decisions? Where do funders come in? Where does the community come in when you make those choices? And as a fundraising professional, at the very top of your job description, that your main challenge is to come up with the funds to make your budget balance every year from philanthropy and grants. But you also have other challenges now that maybe weren't the case when I started in the field back in the 1980s and 90s, which is declining incentives for all varieties of donors to make gifts at all levels. And you have to think of ways to incentivize people to reconsider philanthropy in their planning. We also see more and more nonprofits struggle with the issue of governance and how the board and the leadership of the staff work together in fundraising. So something that we've talked about is, and I think you know this, Merv, this program is intended for people in the development profession for sure. But we understand that many nonprofits, the executive director or the vice president for programs is the de facto fundraiser for the team. So we want them to come to this course too, because they're really challenged if they don't have the staff. How are they going to raise the money? They need to learn some of these skills. We also really want to encourage volunteer leaders to come to this program because being a board member or even a board chair or an officer of a board carries with it the responsibility for revenue and fundraising and how do you lead and engage the community in your mission. So we're hoping to get a real mix. Tawanda and I have started to invite community leaders from the nonprofit world here in Louisville to come be part of our faculty at this course and help us in teaching. We're smart, but we're not that smart. We need help. So we're going to have over 2 days, a number of people come in and help us with this. And I think that will help address some of the challenges when people go back to their office, that if they can get a chance to talk with volunteer leaders, executive directors, and others on our course, that'll help them when they go back to the office also. So that's, I mean, I could talk all day about the challenges we're all facing in the nonprofit sector, but I think truly making it a comprehensive team effort is the biggest puzzle to crack. And how do you make that happen in fundraising?
I love that idea of the comprehensive team effort. And I think, the opportunity to understand that and understand the challenges and preparing, potential participants to overcome them, I think is crucial, to fundraising success. So thank you. Lastly, Tawanda, once participants complete the program, what ongoing support or resources can they expect to receive?
Well, of course, they'll get all the tools that will be presented at the program. And then, of course, CMP continues to offer continued education opportunities. The other piece of what's going to happen is that we want to build relationships in our community, right? So we know that we learn from each other. We've had a change in the landscape of nonprofits in our community. And there's new leaders that are here, new thoughtful leaders that are here. And hopefully by convening everyone together, we'll continue to learn from each other beyond the year. So CMPE will offer things, but we also want the organic relationships to be developed. We want those peer relationships to be developed. We want those volunteer relationships to be developed, and we want to continue growing in that way as well. You'll have faculty members that you'll build relationships with that will be a resource, and I'm sure many new mentorships and partnerships will be established.
That ongoing continued support is really important, isn't it? I mean, it's, great to hear about the resources and the people that you have access to. So that's great that we were able to, build that in the design. So I want to thank you both, Mark and Tawanda, for sharing these valuable insights about the program. It's clear that Strive to Thrive is a dynamic and impactful way to advance our fundraising knowledge and skills. Any final thoughts?
No, I just want everyone to understand that while Mark and I are leading the effort for this this series, we are bringing in the most thoughtful philanthropic leaders and nonprofit leaders to the conversation to help guide the discussion and to provide insight that we don't have. As Mark stated, we don't think that we know it all, but we have some experience that we're bringing to the table, but we're smart enough to know that there are other people that have experience too. And we're just excited to bring all of these thoughtful nonprofit leaders and thoughtful fundraisers and make them available to new leaders to learn and grow.
As I sit here in really what would you call it, Merv, the twilight of my career that I'm so grateful for, 40 years in fundraising, I want people to have an experience in 2024 that they will look back on and say, those 2 days, those people I met, those people who taught me really gave me a new perspective and a new energy to recommit myself to serve my community through this great work of nonprofit leadership. And that if we can be that spark that kind of turns them, that would be terrific. And the class of 24 will be the first cohort, and then we'll be doing this every year, right, Murph? So well, we hope every class will have its own character, its own special sauce. And we really look forward to kicking it off in February with everyone who can make it.
Thank you, Mark, and thank you, Tawanda, and thank you, those of you out there watching. Thank you for taking the time to view this today. If you're looking to deepen your impact in nonprofit fundraising, please visit our website at www.cmp.org/fundraising-school to learn more about our Strive to Thrive fundraising program and how you can be part of this truly transformative experience. So until next time, thank you for all you do, and we hope to see you on February 22nd and 23rd.
Thank you.
Thank you.